Can we call this meeting to order? Seeing 10 councillors, there will be no exclusions from our meeting today. So we have the minutes of the February 23rd council meeting. We need to adopt those unless they need to be corrected or changed. Any comments or a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting? Kelly, please. Motion?
So moved.
Motion to approve the minutes. All in favor of that, please indicate. That's carried. Thank you. Are there any post-agenda items? Matt, you've got some to add, please.
Yeah, so I received an email this morning looking for a letter of support for a business admin diploma program at Medicine Hat College, so I can address that with council, and maybe a conversation about potential dates for our joint annual meeting with Grasslands School Division for the month of May. So we'll look at our calendars for that.
Okay. Anything else to add post-agenda? Seeing none, a motion to approve the agenda as amended would be in order. Greg, please. All in favor, please indicate. That's carried. Thank you. Question period or notices of motion. Are there any questions for us at the start of the meeting? Anything in your world, Todd?
Good morning. We now have 10 people viewing and still no questions in the queue. But if anything does come up, I will be sure to let you know.
Okay, thank you. Seeing none, we'll move on. Noting that we have a public hearing beginning at 11:30, and Cole Steinley is here to present the NRSC report. Are you prepared to do that 5 minutes ahead of the scheduled time? We'd welcome that. Then you can be on your way if you want to. Welcome, Cole.
Thank you very much, Reeve and councillors. I missed last time because I didn't feel we had anything super pressing, so I thought I would save you some time to address some other more pertinent issues. And basically, you can see my report. This is a good thing in that there's not much in this one either. We've been really lucky so far this winter. That's usually when we have breaks and stuff like that, especially this time of year when there can be big temperature fluctuations throughout the county, and ground starts moving, then when wastewater infrastructure tends to have some of their failures during this time. Case in point, the city of Brooks had to do some repairs that we had to sample for them day before yesterday. So so far we've been really lucky. There's been nothing to report and everything's good, but we might see something here in the near future if it's going to happen this year. So with that being said, what I do have for the report is the Tilly wastewater lagoon system. We've reached out to Lambourne Environmental. They're a company that's basically has a monopoly in the province as far as dealing with sewage wastewater lagoons, in that they do site assessments and they do cleaning and dredging of these lagoons. They're very, very good at it, and we've contacted them because it's about time that we assess the current load levels in the Tilly Lagoon system and do some cleaning. We're having issues with discharging every year. The discharge outfall piping plugs up with solids. We usually have to get a hydrovac and a jetter out there to clean it up, and we've been noticing the last couple times that that's been the case, so it's time to do that. And in talking with Jeff and Mark, the last opportunity we had to meet together, we've decided that we should do an assessment on all of them and kind of make up a schedule and a plan to do that. Obviously, some are more pressing than others, and Tilly being number one, but we're going to basically make a schedule so that they all get looked at in a timely fashion. And that's just part of the life cycle of a lagoon system. This has to be done every 15 years or so, give or take. So it's been a while since we've done them on all the other lagoons as well. So this will be the first one, and the others will be put on a schedule to do so also. Other than that, we were really busy. February 28th is the deadline for submitting all annual reports to Alberta Environment and Parks. So we look after about 16 different water and wastewater systems throughout the county, the bulk of them for the County of Newell. So all our annual reports were submitted on time, and spent a lot of time going over them, and now it's in, they're all in at Alberta Environment for them to review. So when they do site inspections, they also look back onto our annual reports when they do their inspection process. Other than that, the rural water project, it's going along nicely. Our operations supervisor was out just the other day, kind of looking and making sure everything's going as according to plan, and it is. And the wastewater collection system, everything, normal observations have been observed as well. So short report, and that's about all I have. If there's any questions?
Yeah, thanks, Cole. Are there any questions for Cole? Holly, go ahead, please.
Just a quick one. What would you ballpark the cost of having them do a site assessment and cleaning? Just ballpark it.
I do have an estimate. I don't have it right in front of me, but if memory serves, it is right around the $15,000 mark-ish. But then the bulk of the cost will be actually the actual cleaning of it. Yeah, so what they'll do is they kind of, they farm it out, and they get a different contractor to come in, and they do ultrasonic testing to see, you know, different load levels at different parts throughout the lagoon to see where the deposits are more prevalent than other areas. So they'll do that, and it's quite a thorough report. I've seen some examples of other municipalities that have had it done. They kind of give you an example report, and it is beyond thorough. It's quite amazing for just something simple like a wastewater lagoon, but it's the technology that they use and the amount of how detailed it is quite interesting. It's pretty amazing, actually. So that's wherein lies, there's that cost to it. But like I said, the cleaning part is because they have to be able to find somewhere to put that sewage sludge spread onto land. So, and that all costs pretty big money, kind of thing. So Landborne Environmental is basically the only company that does that. And their prices kind of reflect that, but they're not cutting any corners. They do a really good job of it.
Okay, thank you. Amanda, please, another question.
Cole, what is the life cycle of a lagoon?
It's just a hole, basically. So it's a clay-lined or plastic-lined or both hole in the ground. So as long as you're not meeting, if you're not coming up on population problems where it's not able to work with the growing population, that's the only reason why it would not be. You might have to do some repairs to the liner itself, but usually the clay lasts basically forever. So you might have to do a few odds and ends and repairs, but the bulk of the cost throughout the life cycle of one would be the cleaning of it like this. So you'll have to assess it, and you'll have to dredge it, and you'll have to place those solid deposits somewhere else. You're welcome.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thanks. So Holly, please.
I'm sorry, it's simply dumb. So they have to dredge it. Like, how do you still have stuff coming in. You're trying to clean it. I'm just not understanding how that all works together.
They can kind of do both at the same time. So because there's more than one cell, other than, I believe, Patricia would be just a one cell system, but it's big enough that they would be able to work at it while it's storing. So basically it's storing over a long period of time. So they can clean it and have it still do its job over the course of, you might, because you can clean it up and add extra storage because you're lowering it basically, that you might not have to discharge that water for another couple years, which will give it time to do its job in breaking down all the microorganisms and making it able to be released into the water course system. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no other questions, thanks for your report this morning and appreciate you coming in. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks.
I don't know if you want to, Mark's not going to be here, but could get the motion to accept his report if anybody has any questions about it or for information.
Okay, which is
11.2.
okay. Thanks. Yeah. I'm going to suggest we carry on to 11.2, Director of Municipal Services report. Mark will not be in to read the report or discuss it this morning, but are there any questions or a motion to approve, accept the municipal reports as printed? Ellen, please.
Motion to accept the report.
Thank you. All in favor of that, please indicate. That's carried. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to suggest we go back to item number 9, Agriculture Services Business. Todd, are you coming down to join us?
You bet, I will be down shortly.
And Roberta as well. It'll be 10.3, so we'll have that in a few minutes, but we'll wait for Todd. Thanks. Yeah. Guess we could add her. Welcome, Mr. Green. If you would take the floor for the Ag Service Board report.
Thank you for having me. Sorry it took so long. I don't know why. They always put the rowdy guys in the back, so I think that's why my office is so far away from this room. So if I'm out of breath, I apologize.
Yeah, no, you're good. Thanks.
I just have a very quick update for you guys, just verbal, nothing formal. We are excited that our our winter maintenance program is just about done. I think we're waiting on 3 parts for an old Brilliant Cedar, and then we are ready for a little bit of vacation, and then the spring rush is here. So looking forward to that. We do have a few more magpie traps that we're building. I think there was one producer in GEM that spread the news to every other producer in GEM that our magpie traps are second to none. So we want to make sure we have a few more of those available.
Haven't shared all the tips yet, though.
We've been getting lots of tips and sharing them as well. So magpie traps are just a pain in the butt to build because there's just so much wrapping that you have to do around the edges. But anyways, the guys enjoy doing it. We did a few land leases. I'm not sure if you guys seen it in the paper. We had a few people that were interested in them, so happy that those will be utilized a little better than just allowing grass to sit idle. Some pretty exciting news. I'm not sure how much I've been keeping everybody in the loop, but the Know Your Food trailer and the Rural Safety trailer that Grasslands is bringing, Grasslands and Ag for Life have been working together to bring. We're going to be hosting it here in the county yard. Really exciting opportunity. I think last time I talked to Leona, we were at 400 kids that had kind of confirmed to come through, and we're still hoping for more. So Leona has gone and sent the information out to Christ the Redeemer School as well and Newell Christian School. So the opportunity is out there. Yeah, really excited. We've got some great contributors, Brand Agriculture, Robertson or RME, Brooks Farm Center. And then we have the EID is coming to do some presentations. So I think it's going to be an amazing couple days for the kids and everybody involved. But anyways, that's beginning of May, so looking forward to that. And yeah, hopefully send more information out as we get it. We do have our shelter bell workshop on Monday. I didn't see a lot of your guys' name on the list. We have 13 wonderful participants so far. One of the benefits of bringing Toso down for the shelter bell workshop, he's a kind of like a tree genius, or whatever you call that. So we actually had him coming here earlier to teach us all about pruning and tree selection, and then we're going to do some presentations for our 13 so far. Registrations, we'll eat some lunch, talk a little bit more. Of course, I'm going to take the opportunity to talk about soil erosion because that's kind of my soapbox, so I want to do that. And yeah, I think it's going to be a great day. Outside of that, yeah, Emerson is going to be our first project, I think. We have a few people coming in early, seasonal staff, so we got some more picnic tables we want to build. We actually, we used to build wooden tables or have sometimes we would buy them, but we would build them. So we actually came across some metal kind of bases that are making our life a lot easier, and it's actually cheaper than building them entirely out of wood, which was a little bit of a surprise, but that'll make things easier. Anyway, and long story short, we put out our seasonal sites for option, and we had 5 people take advantage of it right away at the beginning of March. So I think we still have 7 left. If anybody is looking for a seasonal site down at Emerson, it's going to be a great year.
Thank you. Any questions for Todd? Holly, please.
When exactly is the shelter belt workshop? I know it's Monday, right, time?
That's a good question. I think it's 10 a.m. start. Maybe it's 11 a.m. Yeah, we know that, Dan. I apologize. Donovan did all the work on it, and I don't remember. It might be an 11 till 2 kind of thing with lunch in between, kind of a working lunch. That's good research. Thank you, Councillor Scandrup.
Hey, thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, thanks for the report, Todd. Let's move on to administrative business. Recreation Facilities Improvement Facility Funding Application. Our Director of Corporate Services, Mr. Lane Johnson. Welcome, Lane.
Good morning. So Council has before them an application that has been submitted by the Rolling Hills Ag Society for the expansion of the Rolling Hills Campground. Now, the property where the campground is located is actually owned by the county. There is a current lease agreement between the Ag Society and the county for the use of the property that is taking place there. This is actually a project that was started last year, kind of taking place in 2 phases, wanting to expand the number of sites. And what they are requesting is a contribution of $10,000 from the county's Recreation Facility Improvement Fund to complete the 2nd phase of that project. The information is before Council. Any questions, I can attempt to answer them at this time.
Thank you. Are there any questions with regard to the proposal? Dan and then Holly and then Kelly.
You said they were looking for 10,000, but it says here 15,000 that their request is. Is that changed, or was that just a whoops?
No, 15 is what's requested. They have expended 10,000.
Thank you. Holly?
I'm just a little confused about the budget aspect because although I think it's a great project, are they not supposed to have a complete budget like we're told they spent 10,000? We have nothing in front of us showing how that money was spent. We're not required to have that side of it before we can approve further?
Good point. This is the information that was submitted. Ideally, it would have been submitted up front before the project was started with the full budget, including all aspects of it. What they have submitted, though, includes their statements for the last 2 years, which confirms what some of their expenditures have been towards this project. So really, that's all we've got to go on at this point.
Okay, thank you. Follow up, Dan, or is it?
I got a little bit more background on that one.
Go ahead.
I told them about this about this funding opportunity, and that to fill out the application to get to hopefully get some help adding the new sites, power to the new sites. And they said, well, what about the stuff we already did? I'm like, you can put in that you want to get reimbursed and try. It's the best you can. It might work, it might not. And I also said it'd be a nice idea if somebody came in to answer questions, but I guess no one was available. So I'm on the Ag Society and got some involvement. I guess I can answer some of the questions.
Okay, thanks, Dan. Kelly.
Does the county have in its possession audited financial statements?
The Ag Society is able to produce audited financial statements. They do have them available.
The answer is yes to my question.
I don't think they're audited like a full audit, but we do have the financial statements from Rolling Hills Ag Society that are prepared. I'm trying to remember the accountant, but we got them in the fall.
Thank you.
Would this fall under the same policy or whatever you call it as something like the Scandia Hall, where if they put in 10,000, we match it 50%? Because they've already put in 10. If we gave them another 10, they've got 20 to spend.
Yes, this funding is being requested under the same policy and program that was approved previously for the Scandia Community Center facility upgrade. The Rosemary Court facility was the first initiative that was funded under this program as well, but yes, it is the same one.
And all the rest of them are put in 50%.
The policy provides for three different, sorry, through the chair.
Go ahead. Yes,
Yeah.
please.
The policy has three different categories, and there's a scale that varies as to how much the county contributes based on which category the project comes in at. What I'm suggesting is that this would be a Category 3 project under that policy, and the county's contribution would range from 66% up to 75%. Based on what they have requested, $15,000, with the contribution from the organization coming in at $10,000, we're only at 60% of what the overall project would cost.
Okay, so that's within the option or number 3, or the third policy. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Lynette, please.
I'm ready to make the motion to give them the 15,000 they're asking for.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no other questions, all in favor of the motion to approve, please indicate. Opposed? Okay, that's carried. Thank you. A question from Holly, please.
Just for Lane, I would like for future applications to make sure their project budget is there, like what they've spent. I'm not doubting they've spent it. I just so we have it for our reference, so it's more to the plan, more to our application form.
Duly noted.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to item number 10.2, policy review, policy 015-23, substance abuse. Lane, take us through that, please.
So this policy is the result of a fair bit of effort that has been expended by administration over the last few months. Unfortunately, this is kind of going in the opposite direction of what Council and Matt in particular has asked us to pursue when it comes to coming forward with updated policies. The previous one, I think, was 5 pages. This one is 18 some pages. So it's going in the opposite direction, but it's a reflection of the reality that we're working under right now. There have been a number of changes that have taken place federally when it comes to the use of what was previously banned substances. And the policy that is before you for consideration this morning is the result of a long review process and feedback that has been provided by the county's legal counsel as well. It's really outlining what the responsibilities of the employer has to its employees and what the responsibility of the employees have to their employer. What we're asking council to do is approve the policy as submitted. If there is some questions that you have, we can certainly attempt to answer them at this time. But we feel that we're in a strong position to move ahead with something that will be in full compliance with the current realities.
Thank you, Lane. Are there questions? Holly, please.
Years ago when we did testing in a different life that I had, any trace of drugs and there were consequences, right? Given that cannabis is now legalized, how is that? Are we looking at levels? I didn't understand from the policy.
The policy contains a schedule at the back. It's Appendix A, and those are the cutoff levels that will be used to confirm whether or not an employee is fit for duty. If they have been tested and the levels exceed that, then we have to look at alternative duties that for that particular individual.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Neil, please.
Yeah, it says in here that the county will not randomly test. When do you test?
Our employment screening process requires that we go through a test in advance of employment beginning, and then we would also be in a position to test anytime there has been an incident that would trigger testing, or if there is a suspicion, a valid suspicion that we have that someone is showing up not fit for duty because of potential presence of substances that are not to be used in conjunction with their work. What this does do is it eliminates our ability to just walk in one morning and say, you, and you are going to be taken in for a test. We've got to have valid grounds for doing that.
Okay, thank you. Lynette, please.
I'd be ready to make the motion if this was written with legal counsel's help. I don't think any of us have any knowledge beyond that. So
Yeah.
Motion to accept the policy as written.
Okay, thank you, Lynette. We have a motion on the floor. Are there any other questions? Call for the question. All in favor of the motion to approve as submitted? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lane. Appreciate that. Roberta, please. Let's move to item 10.3, Policy Review, Information and Technology Department. Roberta Furnell, welcome.
Good morning. You can hear me okay? Excellent. So today I bring 3 policies, IT policies, one on the data backup, one server and IT maintenance, and one IT network security. An update of each policy is presented for Council's consideration, amendment if necessary, and approval. And I guess organizational impact would be it provides clear definitions of roles and responsibilities and better reflects the county current IT environment and governance models. So I'm keeping it short and sweet. But I'm happy to explain anything or answer any questions. I think some supplementary information had been provided to Council, so if you have any questions about any of those things, or if I can explain anything, I'd be happy to do so.
Thank you, Roberta. Kelly, you've got a question?
I do. Roberta, are these replacement policies, or are they all 3 brand new policies?
All 3 are replacement policies.
Replacement.
Yes.
And typically we get the markup, like the differences where you're changing and editing. That helps me know where we were and where we're going to. So that's where I was confused.
Yeah, I actually thought those were included. So I didn't know if they weren't in the end included in the policy. I'm not sure. I happen to have them with me, and I can certainly... They're there? Okay.
Sorry, there's very little changes then. Okay, thank you. 2014 was the old one. Very good, thank you.
Okay, Holly, you've got a question?
What is a honeypot? That was my question.
Is there a honeypot in this somewhere? I hope not.
Yes, in a network security, it talks about a honeypot.
Where? Oh, where is it?
Network security one.
Well, maybe it was an update that I didn't, on the network security?
Under control types technical?
Yeah, let me just go back to it. I want to just take
page 3 of
page 3. Thank you for that. Well, a honeypot, I know exactly. I don't remember it being in here. I just wanted to see if it was one of the charts that I had taken from somewhere and put in there, which is possible, and didn't notice it. But a honeypot is kind of when you're attracting somebody into a trap, right? It's setting a trap. And then it springs on you, and it's usually not a good thing.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing no questions, I guess we're ready for some motions. But maybe, Roberta, you want to give us an update on your department? What's happening? Matt kind of cued me into that. You can maybe...
Man, you guys are just tripping me up with honeypots and now just jump into her report. Oh, lots. We have lots happening, and there always seems to be happening. Video conferencing for this room, for the chambers. We've awarded the RFP. We're pretty excited. We're getting the equipment in. Of course, we're going to try to fit it in when we have a break with council, and also before we have to renew any of the current software and hardware, so we don't have to incur those costs this year with the replacement of another network replacement. That was delayed for over a year because of supply chain issues, so we just actually put the first set of switches in and moved over to them, and so we have a plan now to get the rest of them out. We're looking at hiring an IT co-op student, possibly 2 of them through the summer, because we have a really large load for a refresh program. So we have all of that we're trying to get into place. Working on asset management. With our asset management plan that we finished, we had some improvement plan items, and Susan and I have been diligently working on those to make improvements that way. The communications position, working with HR, we'll have a job ad going out, we're hoping next week. We've already developed the work plan for the position, and that would be the regular work. Then we've developed another work plan that would be the projects that, after feedback from everybody about where we want to go, and then we've done a third work plan. So what are the things we want to work on next? So we have all those in place, so when the position's hired, I think we can move forward with that. Hopefully you did look at the supplementary supplementary documentation. You can see our preventative maintenance plan. We've worked hard over the last year. This is one of our first year. Last year we did it, we tested it, we refined it, we got it approved by executive leadership. It's something we're really proud of. We could never even think of doing preventative maintenance tasks when I first got into this role, so that is a big achievement, and I think we see the results of that. And people don't come into the office and nothing works. Everything works when you come into the office in the morning. So preventative maintenance we've worked really hard to try to streamline, capture, follow up with all those things. And as a team, we've worked hard on those. We're doing process procedure reviews and updating. Trying to think, Matt, anything else? I probably could bore you for a very long time. That's kind of the highlight.
Thanks, Roberta. Any questions? Kelly, you've got a question?
just the Coles Notes version, will our guests be shown on screen under the new system? Right now, folks online will be seeing the back of your head. So our new system, they will see your face.
Absolutely. I'm kind of excited about that. There's going to be several cameras when the microphone's turned on, and so when you turn, it cues everybody up, and the cameras will know who's going to be speaking next and when they start to speak, and there will be cameras on both sides. So what'll happen, it won't be just one camera because you don't want to see that shift. So there's multiple cameras. So what it'll do is it'll say, you know, Councillor Chrisman is about to ask a question, and then it'll zoom to you when you start speaking, and it'll bring you in nicely framed. And then when I respond, it's going to switch over and it's going to show me speaking here. So I'm pretty excited. I think it'll be really nice for the people viewing online. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you. Ellen, you've got a question?
Yes, I do. Are the acoustics going to be improved? Because I was online previous and some are impossible to understand.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. And I've kept you in mind throughout this whole project because I know there's concerns with the sound in here, and I know that we've heard it and we've listened and we knew that that was a problem or a concern. Unfortunately, I think the meeting you're talking about was last meeting, which, yes, there was a problem with the sound, and it was terrible, and we were scrambling to try to fix it. Unfortunately, with the way things are today, the only way that we could troubleshoot it in the meeting is if we were all in here and we're going to be, you know, jumping in and into your business because you're going to be trying to work and we're going to be leaning over you trying to change the main controller, or else we'll have to run around and make changes there. At break time, we went to try to make it better, and it made it worse. Yes. And we spent considerable time to try to correct that before it went online. And in the end, I'd like to thank Sandra from the Brooks Bulletin, who she does, oh, she's not even there. I was giving her credit and she's not even there. She records the meetings and she provided her recording. So we were able to redo the audio and then we got it back up. So just everybody knows today sounds beautiful online. We tested it vigorously throughout the week. We did some resettings, and then we tested again this morning to make sure that that audio was still good. And I was assured this morning that it sounds beautiful. So unfortunately, you know, that meeting, that it wasn't so last meeting, and please accept our apologies for that. Hopefully the new system, one of the things that it will provide is more remote control over those situations. Right now, we have no way to control if someone's turned their mic on. So if someone here turned their mic on and someone else, and then it was over top, we have no control of when that happens. We know when it happens because we can, you know, we can hear it, but we can't do anything about it. With the new system, we'll have remote access to the microphones that are here, and we'll have the ability to make adjustments. We can lower one person's, you know, volume or heighten another person's as they're speaking. So it'll make it a much better end product.
So it's important for us to pay attention who's controlling that in terms of a little bit of, yeah. Okay.
It's an important job.
That's right. Yeah. Thanks, Roberta. Any other questions? Thank you for the report. At this point, then, we'll go to item number 10.3.1.1. Pardon me? Oh, Dan, you've got a question?
No, I was going to make the motion to approve those policies.
Oh, the whole works? Okay, I'll accept that. A motion to accept all three of the policy updates, and we'll deal with them all three at once unless someone is uncomfortable with that. Good with that? Good. All in favor of the motion to approve, please indicate. That's carried. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Roberta.
Thank you very much.
So that takes us to item 10.4, Rural Municipalities of Alberta Spring Convention Resolutions.
There's a lot of resolutions.
Matt, you want to lead through that?
Not especially, no. So we typically include the resolutions in the agenda package when they come out. So they're there for your information, review. I've read through them all. Man, there's a lot of resolutions. Thoughts that came to my mind is, this is the work plan for the folks up at RMA head office. So sometimes I wonder about their capacity to chase all these things. I think initially their response is to contact the appropriate ministry with the resolution and look for a response back. So some are bigger advocacy pieces than others. I don't know if council wants to go through them one by one and have a conversation on the resolutions, or if you just want to wait till you're at convention and hear the actual movers of the resolution explain some of the background there. If there's some that are controversial or interesting that you want to hone in on, we could do that, but I don't know that we need to read through them all together as you've had a chance to do so.
In the absence of our Reeve, just for a minute, I'll chair the meeting. Neil, you have a question?
I think we do a pretty good job gathering information right at the RMA conference, and things can change when speakers get up there, so I just soon just read through them and do it at our table.
Yeah, and be prepared for 16 resolutions at RMA. Yeah, plus, yeah, there could be emergent from the floor. Holly?
I was just going to share that after the last RMA, when we passed, I don't know, 17 or 20, whatever the number was, Jason commented that RMA now had more than 100 resolutions that were active, and that was kind of almost unmanageable. So I think there needs to be a potentially critical eye on these. There's many, many things that RMA could do. What's the most important when people are reviewing them? And a question that someone could answer, I'm sure at least one of these, we went to ASB as well provincially. So should it go at both streams? Kelly, would you know the answer to that? Or Alan, you've been around longer, or should it be kind of going one way?
It's a matter of gaining support on the motion. So if they can say, it started at the County of Newell, it went to Foothills Little Bow, then it went to ASB, and so then supposedly they have all those people behind them, right? And that looks good on the resolution. And if timing allows, that's a positive, but it's not required. Okay. Anything to add on that, Ellen?
No, I think you summarized it very well.
Okay. So I think we'll take Matt's lead on this and do our homework over the next couple weeks and prepare ourselves. We each have a vote on these resolutions. Going down the agenda, our favorite topic, 10.5 with Ariana and ministers' meetings. Ariana has some questions for us, I see, in the RFD.
Yes, so I did do some updates yesterday in the agenda. I think I emailed them out as well, so it's not that big of a deal. But, so we do have a meeting with the Minister of Municipal Affairs March 20th at 3:30, which is the Monday when most of you are in the EOP courses. I think I had Reeve Dirksen and Councillor Scriver down to attend that one. If anyone else wants to attend, let me know. Arno forwarded me a meeting confirmation with the commanding officer of the RCMP division. That meeting is going to be March 21st at 9 a.m. They're looking for a list of attendees for that. So the only thing, we didn't have any issues to discuss. You just kind of wanted to indicate support for the RCMP because they're doing a good job in our area. So we're looking for who wants to attend that meeting.
If I may stop you just for a minute, whether I'm at the meeting or not, I do want to acknowledge K Division for keeping Bazzano detachment open as requested by that town council. I think that's important to acknowledge. If I'm not in the meeting, I would sure like the attendees to do that. Town council was concerned about the closure, and we would have rolled in and received service through the Brooks detachment, but not had an office in Bazzano. So if you can extend our appreciation, that would be wonderful.
Okay, so which is next, Jude?
I guess the attendees for the RCMP commanding officer meeting, I guess you could email me that afterwards. So those, Dan? Okay.
Kelly, please. Yeah.
Just meaning that I would attend if there's room.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning of the convention.
Okay.
Do we have a location? If it's at convention, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that one, I do have that. Sorry, I got a little notebook going on here. I believe it is at the convention center in a different room than the municipal, like one of the salons.
Yeah, I believe it is downstairs in
the
convention center. So yeah, I can attend that too if you want. Neil, and then Holly.
Yeah, I'll do the RCMP one too.
Okay.
Holly, please.
I was going to suggest that Neil goes to Municipal Affairs, because when I saw Rebecca Schultz in Hannah, she remembered meeting me, and that was when Neil and I cold called her at the RMA. So if she recognized my face, I think you should go, so it might be a familiar face from the county, Neil.
I was going to do the parks thing because I'm really up on, actually I'm mad about them not opening the campground at Kinbrook.
You're so well liked, you can do too, Neil.
Yeah, I can go with Arnold. He's there anyway.
Okay, thanks.
I'll send out actual meeting invitations, so it's in your calendars after this. So those are the only two confirmed meetings. Minister of Environment and Protected Areas, the topic was Southern Alberta Energy from Waste Alliance. We sent them the backgrounder they requested. The only person I have attending that is Neil, I assume.
That's actually a big one because it takes in Sewa, it takes in our parks, Lake Newell development, it takes in the campground. In my opinion, it's the most important one of the whole, of the ministers there.
And we don't have that meeting confirmed yet, is that right? Yeah. Yeah, I'd go along to that meeting if it's confirmed.
Yeah, no, it's
for sure you should be there.
The more the merrier, because we got to drive that home. This is the second year we've been there voicing our concerns on this campground out here and Sewa.
Yeah.
And there's no action out here, and it's time to drive the point
Talk
home
to our
again.
MLA about that when we get an opportunity to, for sure. Yeah. Okay. Dan, please.
Yeah, I'd like to go to that meeting with the environment if we can get it.
If we get it,
Okay.
okay.
Parks.
Good.
And then the other one that requested the background information is Minister of Forestry, Parks, and Tourism. So no meeting yet. Topics were the pathways connecting the campground to the aqueduct and the crop diversification center south, Steveville bridge access. I sent out an email to you guys looking for information. I started drafting something for the pathways. I know nothing about Steveville bridge access, so I need some help. I need some help with the background information, and then they were looking for the list of attendees as well, so I had Greg and Neil down for that one so far.
Me on the parks one, and I'll get you information on Steveville.
Okay.
And
Greg, please.
I think with that one also, we need to have not just the pathways connecting Tilbrook, but Kimbrook. I don't see that on here. We have the one Tilbrook and the Crop Diversification Center and Aqueduct, but that one to Kimbrook is really important because we are sending that out to a provincial park. So that needs to be on there as, because we haven't, I don't think we've talked to the Minister of Tourism yet with respect to the pathway. So.
Okay, thank you. Is that it?
that's it. There was a couple other ministries that haven't, they said they'd get back to me closer to the convention. They haven't responded. Minister of Transportation is a no. Jobs, Economy, and Northern Development initially sent regrets, but then they reversed them and said he might be available for a meeting or his chief of staff may attend on his behalf. But again, I haven't heard anything back from them yet either.
Okay, thank you, Ariana. Okay, we're back to our public hearings, number 7. I will entertain a motion that we move into a public hearing at this point. Holly, so moved. All in favor that we move to public hearing? That's carried. Thank you. And welcome to anyone who's here to attend our public hearing this morning. We will move to our public hearing notice, Bylaw 2047-23 Land Use Agreement 002. Maria, please.
Thank you. The purpose of the application for Bylaw 2047-23 is to redesignate all of Plan 7811556 Block X Lot 1 as shown in the maps that are attached to the agenda, from residential rural district to agriculture small lot district. The subject parcel is in Division 8, south of the village of Dutches. The applicant would like to construct an indoor riding arena and stables for personal use on the property. The parcel is 10.6 acres in size, and the applicant resides on the property. A riding arena is not a use in the residential rural district of the land use bylaw and is a discretionary use in the agriculture small lot district. Ag small lot also allows for agriculture general as a use. This was circulated to adjacent landowners and affected parties. And there was one adjacent landowner who called to ask questions, but no formal submission was submitted, and there was no response from any required referrals. So I guess that's it for the public hearing. It is administration's recommendation that provided nothing comes from the public hearing, that second and third reading be given. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions? Any further questions? Anything in your world, Todd? Doesn't look like it.
No, sir. Nothing, no questions online.
Thank you. With that, I'll suggest we move on to the next bylaw item number 7.3. Bylaw 2048-23 Land Use Amendment 003. Go ahead, Maria, please.
Okay, thank you. This application is again to redesignate all of Plan 7811-556 Block X, this time Lot 2, which is directly south of the application that was just heard at the public hearing, from residential rural district to agriculture small lot district. This parcel is 6.8 acres in size, and the applicant resides on the property and grazes a few cows and horses. The agriculture small lot district allows for agriculture general as a use. The applicant is also looking to rezone this parcel to be more congruent with the activities that are happening on that parcel and for any potential development may arise in the future. There were no concerns raised from adjacent landowners and required referrals, and should nothing come from the public hearing, it is recommended by administration that this receive second and third reading from council. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Nothing. Dan, please.
Just one quick one. Is there much of a tax implication on this change?
Go ahead, Maria.
Well, I'm not really the person to talk to about taxes, I suppose, but the assessment is based on what the use of the land. And that essentially is not changing. It's just the land use district that will change to allow for further development.
Oh, sorry, my mic was off here. Any other comments from the public? And seeing none, with a motion, we can move out of our public hearing. Adina, please.
I'll make that motion that we move out of public hearing.
Okay, thank you. All in favor of that, please indicate. That is carried. Thank you. Thank you, Maria. Appreciate that. At this point, we'll move to, we need a motion for second reading of Bylaw 2047-23, Land Use Amendment 002. Kelly?
Yeah, I would make that motion to approve second reading.
Okay, all in favor of that motion, please indicate. That is carried. Thank you. Similarly, we need a motion for third reading of Bylaw 2047-23. Amanda, please.
I'll make that motion for third reading.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, please indicate. That is carried as well. And then we'll move to second and third reading of, first of all, second reading of motion 2048-23. 003. Amanda?
I'll make that motion for second reading.
Thank you. All in favor, please indicate. That's carried. Thank you. And similarly for third reading, Greg, please.
I'll make that motion for third reading.
All in favor that we pass third reading on motion bylaws 2048-23. That is carried. All in favor? Did we vote already? Carried. Oh. Fourth reading. Okay. Thank you. We are very close to, are we moving down to post-agenda items?
10.6.
Pardon me. Right, thanks, Matt. Item number 10.6.1, a motion for proclamation of National Volunteer Week to be April 16th to 22nd, 2023 in the county. Ellen, please.
I'll make that motion for the proclamation.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, please indicate. Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Requests for functions of council. Holly, please.
First, just back to the Citizen of the Year. Does someone normally attend that on behalf of the county or not?
I'm not sure if officially. Kelly, go ahead.
Typically, the FCSS board member would attend that, representing the county, of course, as well.
Okay, thanks, Neil.
I'm just wondering if the EID annual general meeting should be a function of council. Like, we've been basically honored to have Holly and Kelly be asked to chair those meetings, and we're promoting a relationship with the EID. I think that is definitely a function of council for any board member that wants to go, but particularly somebody that's chairing.
Okay, thank you. You make that motion? Okay. Further discussion or ready for the question? Please.
Yeah, personally, I feel that this is a community service, that we are asked to do many things, and we can't make them all functions of council. It will go on my timesheet, and I'm sure Holly's went on last year. But this is no different than many other things that we get asked to do as councillors. And the EID gives the chairperson a thank you. And so I'm opposed to getting paid or making it a function of council. That's my thoughts.
Okay. I think from the perspective, a number of us would also be ratepayers at the EID, so that might be a little different than if for someone who isn't a ratepayer. That's my opinion as well with regard to my participation. But so I wouldn't see that as a function of council for myself at this point. But I appreciate that Neil's suggestion on that. Any further discussion or ready for the question? All in favor of the EID meeting being a function of council, please indicate. Opposed? That's defeated. Okay, thanks. Okay, any, Holly, please.
On March 21st, there is the Palliser Triangle Health Advisory Council meeting. It's during RMA. I'm not going to RMA, so I could sit in on it, but I wanted to ask Kelly, I think you sat in on one. Is there any value to that?
Well, and to that point, they are also looking for board members from this area as well. I received an email, I imagine all of you did. These meetings are quarterly, I believe, Palliser Health Advisory Councils, and they move around the region. So they can be attended online or in person. Was there for several years, and limited involvement or speechless. I won't be applying for this opportunity. How's that?
Okay, thank you. Are you?
My question, I guess, Kelly, was just, is there value to me sitting in on behalf of the county, not to be on the committee, but I think it's just open, right? Or am I misunderstanding it? Just to sit in on behalf of the county, is there value?
The meetings are all open, but not as a county board member, no, or as a councillor. There wouldn't be an opportunity for you to even speak unless they acknowledged you, so not necessary.
Okay, any other requests for a function of council? Seeing none, we'll move on to post-agenda items, right? Yeah. Matt, please.
All right, so hot off the press in my email inbox this morning is a request from Jessica Surgener for a letter of support for a business administration diploma program. I emailed this out, forwarded to council, so you've got it for your information. I think anytime we can attract more programming to the Brooks College campus is a great thing. So she's asked that the letter comes from me, but I would punt that and ask respectfully that the Reeves signature goes on that, so I can draft a letter of support if council will make that motion.
Any questions? Are ready for Neil, please?
Yeah, I've got to make that one.
Okay, thank you. All in favor of the motion that we support this initiative? That's carried. Thank you. And secondly,
Yeah, second item is if you can look at your calendars for May, we're looking for potential dates to get together with our friends at Grasslands School Division and the other municipalities. It is the county's turn to host, so we'll make those arrangements to host our friends here at the county facility and get that meeting together. So you can take it away, what dates work, what dates don't work.
thank you. I would suggest that we try to straddle it on a day when we're already meeting here, which we have council meetings on the 11th and the 25th of May. Is that workable? Holly, please.
The 25th, Al and I are at the FCM in Toronto.
Okay. So the 11th, maybe? We'll target the 11th. Matt, does that work? Council okay with targeting the 11th?
Yeah, and can you give me one more alternate date?
Kelly, please.
The other option here is that all of council doesn't have to be at this update meeting. Hopefully you would put first choice and second choice, and we would put, but it does save a ton of travel if we're already here on the 25th. Granted that Ellen and Holly would be absent, but hopefully. And we would represent you, and you could also send notes with one of us if you had concerns, if they so chose the 25th. But it does make for a decent day, and we've done it in the past where we just stay on and carry forward into the late afternoon, early evening.
Thank you, Kelly. Holly, please.
Yeah, I think almost or all of us did show up, and a lot of Grasslands people did not show up. So it was a little heavy on our side of the table.
Right. So I'm going to suggest then that the 25th be the alternate date. Okay. That's it. Any other post-agenda items? Seeing none, I think we'll move in camera, right? Yeah. Motion to move in camera, please. Amanda, Adina, please.
I will make the motion we move in camera.
All in favor that we move in camera? Let's take about a 3 or 4 minute break and we'll go in camera.